Yeah, very good morning, everybody, and welcome to my channel of AG Maths, the way of life. I have earlier finished a topic called quadratic equation. We'll continue more with some examples, problem solutions at the later part of this session. Today, I have picked up a topic called circle. Circle, we'll discuss the topic called circle. So, you know, when I talk of circle, the first thing comes in our mind is something which is round, round like a ball or a chapati or a pizza, something which is round to look at. You will wonder that our earth is also round. Where we live, the sun, the mighty planet, which is giving the major part of energy to our planet earth, is also completely round. The moon is also full round when it is the full moon. Likewise, we have very many objects around us which are round in shape. Do you wonder why these are round and what is the specialty of these round objects? Can you think of anything to talk about round? Yeah, you are right. We can talk about a clock. A clock is round in shape normally. The dial is round until unless somebody designs it as an oblique or a triangle or a rectangle, which is the not a normal way of designing a clock. In a clock, what happens? You will observe that if this is a clock, it's round in shape, and we have marking of the clock like 12 is here, then there's a mark of 3 here, and a mark 6, and a 9. These are the important notations on a clock through which there are intervals between 12 to 3 interval is divided into another two parts 1 and 2, then here it is 4 5 and 7 8 and 10 11 like that, and we have few hands. These hands are called the hour hand, the minute hand, and the seconds hand. Let us consider one hand which is called the seconds hand. This is one second hand here in a clock. This moves in a clockwise direction like this. Suppose it started from 12, then it will cover 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and go back to 12 again. It returns back to 12. While doing so, if you note the path which is being covered, I have put some dots here where I have marked the position of the second's hand tip, the arrow part, the tip part, not this one. The arrow part I have marked like this all through its movement. And if I join all these points together, then what I get is again a name you so far know. It is called a round shape. And mathematicians call this part as a circle. This was the special name given to this special shape. You must be wondering that we also know a wheel. What is a wheel? Wheel is also round. And it is also a known fact that wheels invention is the greatest invention for mankind which has revolutionized our lifestyle. Imagine a world where you don't have a wheel. Can you come to the school? Can your parents go to the office? It was impossible because everything which moves like a car, or a cycle, or a truck, or a aeroplane, or a train, every object has got wheels which are round in shape. And this round shape has got a special name, circle here. And I have denoted the formation of circle. Now, if this path is called the circle, then what this hand is called? This hand is touching here, no? Suppose this is the position, it is coming here, coming here, coming here. So this hand of clock can be called as the radius. This is the radius of the circle because it is one end is fixed, another end is free to move. This free end is covering this dotted position around the path of a circle. The hand of the clock is the radius, and 2 times the radius is called the diameter. So now we got the definition of a circle. What it is? It is the path traced by a moving hand which is fixed at one point, and the path is traced by a fixed distance throughout. Then it forms a circle. The fixed point is called the center. Fixed point is called the center. And the whole length, this suppose length is L, then length of hand is called the radius. Normally it is denoted by small r. I have considered this as the length of L, so let us call it the radius is small l. Right. Now let us consider some more definitions of the parts of the circle. What are the other parts named? Now I'll draw another circle here and tell you the names of the parts of that circle. Suppose this is a circle whose center is at this point. Right. Then I draw some lines on it. I draw a line passing through the center. Then I draw a line which is not passing through the center but touching the circle at the path traced. Then if I draw another line which is intersecting the circle. This is another line which is intersecting the circle. If I draw another line, suppose here, which is intersecting at only one point here, then what are the names of these parts of the circle? We know, we have already told that this is called the center. Suppose C is the center, then let it be called as A and B. Then we say that AC must be equal to BC and must be equal to the radius, which we have already understood by the help of a clock. The second hand, which was fixed at the center and moving along the path of the circle clock, was called the radius. So here we call this as a radius r and this also as a radius r. Now, this is called the chord. Which one is called the chord? The green line is called the chord because this is intersecting the circle at exactly 2 points on the periphery, or you can call it as a fence of a circular park which is surrounded by a black fence. It is touching only at these 2 points. Suppose these points are called P and Q. So PQ is called a chord. Right. Now coming to another line. If this chord is intersecting at 2 points, suppose here it is the X and Y, and it is intersecting at 2 points but extended to little extra on the both end, then this is called a secant, which is a chord extended at the end out of the circle. The line which I have drawn here in blue color is called the tangent. Tangent is a chord or a secant which touches at only one point, and this particular point is called the point of contact of the tangent. The speciality of this point is if I connect it to the center or if I draw another radius here from C onto this point T, then this will be always at right angle to the tangent. Suppose the tangent is called Tn. So we got definitions for tangent. It is a line touching the circle at one point. Circle at one point. In our figure it is point T. And at point T, if I join the center, a radius drawn on the point T, it will be always a perpendicular. That's the theory. Then we got a secant. What is secant? Secant is a line segment cutting the circle at 2 points. Cutting the circle at two distinct points. This point should not be very close to each other. It should be distinct point, right? Then we have another line in green, which is called the chord. So what is chord? Chord is a line segment cutting the circle exactly on the circumference at 2 points. Cutting the circle on the periphery at exact 2 points. So once again I repeat what we have learned in this part. We draw a circle in black ink with the center C and a diameter called AB, which is equal to 2 times of radius. AC must be equal to BC because these are the radius and we call it as radius. Now we have drawn a line here. Let us start PQ. PQ is a chord which is cutting the circle at 2 points. It's a line segment cutting the periphery at exactly 2 points, P and Q. Then we came to secant. Secant is a line segment again which is extended both ends beyond the points P and Q. Let us call it as XY as a secant, cutting the circle at two distinct points but extended. If this secant is removed further away from the center, if it goes out of the center in this direction, then what will happen? These 2 points will come closer and closer and ultimately they will coincide. And they coincide suppose at a point T. And this point T is called the point of contact, and the line drawn through the point T, which is T and here in blue color, is called the tangent to the circle at point T. And the radius drop from center C at the point of contact T will make an angle with the tangent equal to 90 degree. So that is what we learned about the circle so far. Now let us find out two more things are here. One is called the segment. What is a segment and sector? See here CBT, this part, it is called sector. Sector is written like CTB with a arc shape. So it is a minor sector because it is a smaller part of the circle. If a pizza is cut into this piece, a small piece is coming out, which is smaller than the remaining part of the circle. So it is a minor sector. Then we have a major sector. Major sector is called TQPA, be like that. Major sector is suppose start from T go to Q, P, A, and back to B. So this whole thing is a major sector from T, Q, P, B, A, B, like this. Now, what is segment? Segment is the area part, this area part. This is the segment, the minor segment or major segment. Then we can say the diameter divides the circle in two equal segments, the lower half, the upper half. Then they are called as semicircles. Semicircle. Semicircle is for the half of the circle divided into two segments. So this is semicircle is half of full circle and also called the segment. The lines which divide a circle into two parts, the one part may be bigger, one part may be smaller. This secant is dividing into two segments. This is the minor segment and the other one is the major segment. So these are other names of the parts of the circle. Now, mathematicians have found out the value of pi. You must have heard the name which is called pi. Now, what is this pi? Pi is not pronounced as PIE, is not spelled as PIE, but in mathematics, this pi is written as PI only. PI is a term which is called pi. Now, what is pi? It is called like this. We pronounce it as PI, pi. To find out what is pi, our arithmetician or mathematicians again took the help of a circle with this center C, and suppose the diameter is here AB. AB is the diameter, C is the center. Then the length AB was measured and they started walking from the point B to another point, say P here. This whole distance what they measured was called D. D is the diameter of the circle. Then again they walked another distance here, another D, they walked like this and came up to this. Then the third distance they walked over and came up to this. Sorry, this is a line D here. Now there was a gap. This portion was a gap. It was not possible to cover by this length D, which they might have taken as a measuring tape or a rope or a rod, whatever. And they found that 1D is covered, 2D is covered, 3D covered on the circumference or which is called the fence of the circle. And they came to a point here. This is P, suppose this is again Q and an R. This point is called Q and this point is called R. Then BR is not covered, it is a gap. And this gap was measured and found it is only 14% of the diameter D, where D is called the diameter. And in each and every circle, they have experimented and done the project to find the same thing happens. The gap is left over and that is always equal to 14% of D. Then what they say, the whole length of the fence or the circumference, they call the circles fencing. Circles fencing is called circumference. If you make a fence around the circle, it is called the circumference, which is equal to 1D plus 1D plus 1D and 14% of a D. So this is called 3D plus 14 over 100 of d, and which can also be said as 3d plus 0.14 of d. If you take d common, it is 3.14 times of d. And we knew this was called the circumference. If I call this as a circumference C, then we say that C over D is always coming to 3.14. This is a numerical number, a magic number, which will always come. Draw any diameter of a circle and perform this exercise. You will come to the conclusion that it is when the whole circumference is measured and you divide it by a diameter of that particular circle, individual circle, then you get a value called 3.14, and then the mathematicians called it as equal to pi. So this was a very important finding by the mathematician that it is value is 3.14, and which helped to calculate so many things in our mathematics research work. And finally, we can also say that circumference of any circle which is equal to C can be called as 2 pi of r. Why it is 2 pi r? Because here, if I replace this 3.14 by pi and d by the value of 2r, which we know that diameter is nothing but 2 times radius, then this on rearrangement you can say it is 2 pi r. So this is about our little bit introduction part of a circle and its part, and the value of a pi which has only come from the circle concept. If you like this video, please click on the like button and also subscribe so as to get more intimation about my upcoming videos. Thank you very much for your valuable time. See you again.